Well, good morning, and welcome to Chris's Couch Corner. It has been a morning. At least we haven't had any meltdowns. But they've went a little crazy. And I don't know if you'll see it before this or after this, but I let the kids do a little video this morning before we left the house. They were talking and playing, and we got on the subject of cops and firefighters and ambulances and all of that. And Caleb reminded me that he had an actual policeman's badge. And he asked if he could have it, so of course I did. I went and I got it down for it. And so, I really was wanting to, I was trying to get like dressed for work, and he started talking, and I really, really wish I would have gotten it on camera, because they watch, a lot of these cartoons and a lot of these shows, and he was sitting there saying something along the lines of, like, now my brain is just like, but something along the lines of, like, he was like using like a magic spell to turn Elena's little rainbow kitty into a police kitty, and trying to turn her into like a policewoman. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my camera? Well, I didn't have my phone on me, and my camera was put up, so I was like, no, I'm gonna miss it. And so I was hoping he would like do it again, like once I turned the camera on, but he didn't. He just wanted to show you guys, and wanted to talk about it, which is fine. We are, between me and the school, they are talking about like emergencies and like what to do if there's an emergency. If you feel uncomfortable, you go run to like another adult. And stuff like that. Like if somebody falls and there's no one around, tell someone, call 911. And what does 911 entail? Well, you talk to someone, you tell them that, you need help, and they'll send a cop or, firefighter or whatever. And, and so, like, that's just something that, we're in the process of teaching Caleb. And so, he really likes cops, he really likes firefighters. And he asked me this morning if he could actually be a police officer. And I told him, I said, well, baby, you can be whatever you want to be. Mommy does not care. But if you're either one of those, it's going to take a lot of training, and you're going to have to stay calm, which, I know once he gets older and can actually really understand, he'll be able to, understand all of that. And so he told me, he's like, well, I want to be like Papa Herschel, which that is my dad, and they love him to death. He loves the fact that his papa is a ex-firefighter as well as an ex-cop, because those are his two favorite things, and for the fact that his papa was those things, he just absolutely loves it. So, we are at the school. I'm going to drop him off real quick, and then I'll continue doing this. So, I normally wouldn't care if y'all saw. I don't care. But the thing is the fact of, we've got a lot of stuff going on at the school this week, and there's going to be a lot more people there and a lot of other kids. And so, I'm not, with like just the school, like I pretty much know like who can be recorded and who's, don't care. And for the most part, I'm just going to get adults anyhow if I do get anyone. But for the fact of, there's going to be a lot more kids on campus because they're siblings and other adults that may not want to be on camera. When it comes to the school this week, it's going to be like paused. just to make sure that nobody gets filmed that doesn't want to get filmed. So one of the people, and I don't know who this guy is. He's like an older gentleman, like to me, like grandpa age. And like, I don't know who he is, but he is like super sweet. And there are two people that do the car drop off. It's a lady and this gentleman. And I mean, they're both nice, you know, the lady is nice and everything, but she always comes off as she's like just tired. And like, unfortunately, like this is like the last place that she really wants to be. Like she's tired, she's cold, she just wants to just go inside and just don't want to deal with it. And I totally understand that. I would probably get tired of doing it too, day in and day out. But this guy, and he's always dressed up in like some type of like suit jacket and like slacks. So I know he's part of like the like administration. He's not the principal, but he might be the vice principal. I don't know. Or, you know, one of those higher ups. But Caleb is kind of the same as me. Like, he really likes this guy, and we normally get the lady. Well, this morning we got the gentleman, and oh, he was so excited. Mommy, he's my favorite. And I was like, I get it. Hey, I get it, bud. And so he helped Caleb get out, and Caleb was trying to tell Elena bye, and she was kind of ignoring him like a little booty butt that she is. And so he turned around and said, Lenga, I said bye. And she said, okay, bye. And so the guy reached in and said, hey, can I get some knuckles? And so he gave Elena knuckles this morning. And like when he closed the door, she said, Mommy, I got knuckles. Oh, he's so sweet. And I was like, yeah, he really is sweet. So, she said something and I couldn't hear what she said. I don't know why, but my nose is like extremely itchy this morning. So, but yeah, it was like, he's super sweet. Tomorrow, me and Elena will be going to the school. Tomorrow is like our day / time to go to the school. And I don't know if this is every school. I've never heard of it until now. I've never heard anybody talk about it or anything like that. And this definitely didn't exist when I was in school. And I know that I was kind of too young to really remember too much of kindergarten. But even as I got up older, I still really don't. Not only that, my mom worked at my school. When I was in like kindergarten and like part of like first grade, like she worked at my school. She actually worked for a company that dealt with kids like Caleb. And so it was a mental health company, but they were part of the school. And so she, you know, was always there on campus with me. And then after my mom decided she didn't want me to be in public school and put me in a Christian school, she ended up being my actual teacher. So, yeah, my mom's pretty much been my teacher my whole entire life. Because even after I decided I wanted to be homeschooled, guess who my teacher was? So, my mom's pretty much been my teacher my whole entire life. So, anyhow, she told me, she's like, I don't really remember us doing this either. So, I don't know if it's just something that this school particularly does, or if it's just, or if all schools do it now, and it's just something that they've been doing like the past few years, 10 years, whatever. But anyhow, it's called Breakfast with Buddies. And they're allowed child, two guests. Siblings are actually included in this one, so that's good. So I don't have to go drop Elena off. But what it is that we go and we pretty much just have breakfast with them. And of course, there's time frames that you can do that, because everybody has breakfast at different times. So, like the pre-Kers and kindergartens do theirs kind of like together, and then like the other grades do it together. I don't know if every school is like that or not. I really don't remember. I really don't remember public school that much. I only went to public school like 4 years out of everything. And that was like kindergarten and like part of first grade, and then like 6th and part of 7th. But there was a lot of stuff going on at that time, so I don't really remember it. Also, considering that I do have memory problems, there are a lot of things from my childhood that I actually really don't remember. And that's due to an accident that I had when I was younger. It messed with the memory part of my brain. So that's why I'm always having to make lists of things that I need to do. And just why lists are just such a big part of my life, and why I have to constantly have lists everywhere. And like the second something dings, I've got to write it down. Like Align brought up 2 things this morning, and he said, hey, you didn't do this and you didn't do this. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he's like, well, yeah, did you not write it? He's like, did you not put them on your list? And I said, no. He's like, well, what's the point in having lists? I was like, to try to help me from not forgetting. And he's like, but you forget to put it on the list. I was like, I know. I need to have a list of things that I need to put on my list so I don't forget to put on my list. And so, which honestly, I did think about them yesterday, but I really didn't have time to do it. So once I had it in my head, well, I'm not going to have time to really do that today, I instantly forgot about it. And so, until he said this morning, I was like, how is that not on my list? And then I got to thinking, I was like, oh wait, that's right. I didn't have time. I didn't really even have time to do that yesterday. That's why I forgot that it was even something that I needed to do. Because I told myself I don't have time to do that at all today. So it's just how my brain works. I fell and I landed on concrete in the back of my head, and so it did a number on my brain. So that's kind of why sometimes I repeat myself, why I lose my train of thought and say and a lot, because I just lose my train of thought. I also do have a touch of ADHD, so that really does not help either. Oh, I don't like this. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster every time we go over that. So, I forgot. Sit here talking about things that I forgot. And I just realized that I did not bring me and her anything to eat for breakfast. I mean, she's just going to my mom's, which is fine. But, you know, I like to kind of try to just, like, bring her something. Just so my mom doesn't have to worry about, like, cooking. You know, we just, you know. That's just one less thing that my mom doesn't have to, like, stress over. Because there's a lot going on, and my mom is really stressed right now. And so I just... Here lately, I've been trying to take, I know it's something small and simple and silly, but her not having to worry about what to cook and actually sitting there cooking it and having to clean up after it, you know. So, I do think that my mom has some grits, so I might just tell her, we just might make Elena some grits. So. And not only that, I don't get to eat breakfast because I didn't bring me nothing. So, but that's okay. I do have stuff in my lunchbox, and you know, her for 4 hours, so it's no big deal. So, I just snack all throughout the day, and if my client done the last 2-3 days that I've been there, he's just gonna be sleeping. So I really think he's got his days and nights mixed up. I don't know how necessarily he managed to do that, but he did. And I think he had a little, they had like a little birthday party for him through the VA, because he is retired military. I'm not sure what branch, but most likely probably Army. That's kind of, but this is just a guess. I'm Army brat, so can't say that. Anywho, they did that, and that kind of lasted all day, and they didn't get home until later on in the evening because of the time slot that they had, that the VA had allotted them to do it. And it was kind of like, it wasn't just for him, it was for like everybody within like several months or whatever. And so they didn't get home until, late, and I think he ended up sleeping in. Since he didn't go to bed the time that he normally does, he ended up sleeping in. Well, then him sleeping in made him get up later. Well, then that just made him stay up later because he wasn't tired. So I think that little party kind of threw him off, and now he's got his days and nights mixed up. So I need to, not necessarily force, because I can't force him, but I can try to like talk him in to getting up. Me and one of my supervisors tried doing that Monday. It really didn't go so well. He said that he would, but when we walked out to let him actually get up and get dressed, he ended up going back to sleep. And so, there's not much we can do about it. So I'm going to try to do that again. Try to be like, hey, I thought you said you were going to get up. Okay, well, I'm going to come check on you in a few minutes, and, we need to get up, and we need to shave, we need to do this, we need to do that. And try to get him up, even though he's tired, try to get him up and doing things. And even though he's tired, trying to make him stay awake. Not make, because we can't make him do anything. When I say make, it's just like trying to keep him busy doing things. That way he will end up staying up. That way, by the time I leave, he can go to bed. Because then, he'll go to bed early. So then he can get up early. He won't, by the time tomorrow morning comes, he'll be ready to get up, and he'll get his days back on track. Or days and nights back on track. So, that is what I'm going to try to do with him today. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that is ultimately my goal, is to try to get him up and moving. So, and we don't have cameras, so I don't know if he's sleeping all day and night, or if he's actually getting up at night. That's kind of the other thing that some people with their elderly family members, sometimes they will have cameras like inside the house to watch them, make sure they don't fall or whatever when they're by themselves. And this particular family has not done that yet. It is on the list of things for them to do, but they just hadn't got around to it yet. And so we're kind of not sure what he does when we're not there. We don't know if he gets up at night or if he sleeps all day and all night. If he is sleeping all day and all night, then we got a problem, because that's not good, So, but it's hard, and if I knew that for a fact, then I could be a little bit more, not forceful, but pushy with him getting up during the day. But considering I don't know that he's actually getting up, I kind of just have to let him be. Now, if I had like proof that he was sleeping all night and then sleeping all day, then I could be a little bit more pushy with him getting up. Hey, no, you slept all night and you slept all day yesterday. You know, you have literally not been out of this bed in 2 days. You have to get up. You have to move around. You have to get up. You have to eat. You have to do this. You have to do that. And I can be a little bit more pushy with it. But since we don't know that for a fact, we just have to let him. We have to assume that he's getting up during the night and eating something. So, and we can't force him to eat either. I really wish we could. And I don't mean that to like be like ugly. Like, I don't want to make an older person do something. But it's just one of those things to where, you know, I love my job. I love my clients. I love taking care of my clients. And why I didn't have the aha moment to do this years ago, I don't know. And I think it was because I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And I still do want to be a stay-at-home mom. But I also love my job. I love what I do. I love being able to take care of these people. Now, I've had some clients that I didn't particularly care for, but I still loved my job. And, you know, being able to help them stay in their home and be more independent, I love being able to be part of that. I love being able to make that happen for them. Because I remember when we had to put my grandfather in a home. We put him in there and he straight down. He wasn't in there that long. And, you know, and so it's one of those things, you know, I just want to help them live a little bit longer. And I've had a client tell me before, my very first client that I ever had as a caregiver, he told me, he's like, I take a walk 2 times a day. He says, and I was like, okay. He says, the only time I won't walk is if it's raining or if it's way, way too cold. All right, we can do that. And he told me, he said, because the second I stop walking, I'm dying. I was like, oh, you can't be saying that. He says, the second I stop walking, I'm dying. And unfortunately, he got sick with pneumonia. He went to the hospital for like 2 weeks, and he ended up passing away. And I was like, well, he knew himself. And that's kind of the way it is with older people. If they're used to going, once they stop and they can't, that's when they go downhill. And that's when they end up passing. And that's kind of like what it is for this guy. He does as much as he can, but his mobility is just not really there. So he does what he can. But sleeping is, and I probably should make like a whole nother video on this if y'all even want to. But sleeping all the time, like day and night, not really getting up, barely eating, or not really being hungry, and can go like all day and like all night, and you know, without anything to eat or very little to eat. That's kind of one of the first signs that they're, you know, that it's getting close to that point for them. And so I've been talking with my boss as well as one of my supervisors, and I've already told them, you know, my concerns, and we are just keeping a really close eye on him. I am worried that he is getting to that point, all of the sleeping and the not really wanting to eat. It is very concerning for me as a caregiver, for the fact, you know, I've been in this situation before, and I really don't want to have to do that again. You know, it's not easy. That is definitely one of the downfalls of being a caregiver, is the fact of sometimes you unfortunately walk in and you see your client is no longer here, no longer with us. Or you get a call right after you leave saying that they're no longer here. And so that is the really especially at the age that he is in, or at the age that he is, and the stage of life with the other medical issues that he has, it is also very easy for him to get his days and nights mixed up. So even though I am concerned about the sleeping, because again, that's one of the signs that he's getting ready to pass, it is also very possible that he could just have his days and nights mixed up because of the other issues that he has. So, you know, and see, he's kind of like a wild card, because we don't know he doesn't have anybody else staying with him, and so we don't really know what he's doing at night. You know, with other clients we've had, you know, people are living with him, or they have like a caregiver at night. And so, like, we've always had a little bit of inkling as to what has happened during the night. As with this one, we don't. So, it's just kind of up in the air. So, yes, even though I am very concerned, I am also still, like, just kind of in here, I'm just kind of thinking, I think it's just he's got his days and nights mixed up. You know, I'm not a doctor, you know, or anything like that. So, you know, I'm not trying to say that, you know, it's just one of those feelings. You know, with one of my other clients that passed away when he was doing this, sleeping all the time, and he got really irritable and flat-footed, refused to eat. Like, and I was with him every day. It wasn't like every other day. I was with this client every day. And, you know, I was with him on a Monday, and he was joking and laughing and cutting up. And then when I got there Tuesday morning, he acted like a little butthole. He was mean. He was hateful. He was rude. And it was just like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you ready to eat breakfast? And down my throat he went. And I was like, oh, good Lord, have mercy. What happened to you? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Down my throat again. And so, and he was one of those that he said, joke with me. I want you to joke with me. And so, like, I just thought that maybe he was having a bad day. Well, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, you silly goose? I didn't know. And he refused to eat. And so I called his daughter-in-law and said, hey, holy shucks, this is bad. This man is so mean, he's about to make me cry. I'm having to walk outside just so I don't end up bursting into tears. He is like, good Lord. And his son ended up getting off from work early and getting home and let me go home early. And within 2 hours of me being off, they called me and told me that he had passed. And I was talking to one of his home health nurses and told her what was going on. And because she ended up coming during the day, during that Tuesday. And I was telling her, you know, and she could kind of see it for herself. And she's like, this is not him. This is not him whatsoever. And because she'd been with him for a couple of years. And she's like, this is, just so you know, this is one of the signs that they're getting ready. She's like, I give him to the end of the week. She's like, she said, just in my professional opinion, I give him a week. And sure enough, that night. And I had her number, and she ended up calling to check up on me. And she said, I told you, I wouldn't give him to the end of the week. I said, well, I was looking for, you know, kind of looking to have him the rest of the week with him, you know. And she's like, sorry, you know. So, but, you know, not even medical professionals they can give you an idea, but it's not, like, set in stone. Because, like, my last client, when she came down with her cancer, like, when Grims came down with her cancer, her doctor gave her 3 months. Get your stuff in order. I gave you 3 months. She lasted four years. And she didn't even die from her cancer. She died of the pneumonia. Because pneumonia got into her lungs, and her doctor was not checking on her like she should have been. And it got missed, and it got overlooked until they're at the end. By then, it was too late. So anyhow, I'm rambling. So anyhow, we're actually almost to my mom's. So I know, been rambling. I'm sorry, this is a long video. Sorry. But if y'all are curious about the whole caregiving thing, I can do like a video just by that. If not, not a lot of people like it. Not a lot of people can handle it because they get too attached, too emotional, and that's me. That's kind of me. I get really attached to my clients. I'm not getting as attached to this client as clients before, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of everything with Grams is still so. She died back at the end of December. We're in the beginning of March, but the fact of the matter is, I was with her 3 years, and she had become family. We claimed each other as family, and so it really felt like losing an actual family member. And so since I still kind of very raw, I think that's one reason why I'm just not getting quite as attached to this client, is just for that reason. I'm still kind of raw from Grams, and so I'm kind of like, trying to keep back because I don't want to have to go through that again. I will still be very upset when he passes, but the fact that I hadn't been with him for very long, that also has something to do with it. Because the longer you're with the client, the more emotional you will be when that client passes. And so, like, my first client, I was with him, about a year. And so when he passed on, I was very upset. My second client, the one I was actually just talking about, I wasn't with him for very long, but he kind of made me feel like part of the family because he was just always joking. He wanted me to sit down in the recliner beside him, and me and him just talked, and we joked. And me and the daughter-in-law would sit there, and we would talk and joke and, all kinds of things. And so I was, but I wasn't quite as upset because I really didn't get to know him all that much. And so if, like, the client that I have right now was to pass, I would be upset, but I wouldn't be, like, as emotional. And it wouldn't just hit me quite as hard for the fact of I just haven't been with him that long. I've not really gotten to know him that well. So that also has a very big part of it. And just being like an emotional type of person, that's just me. So, but anyhow, we're almost at my mom's, so I gotta get off of here. We gotta get Tater Tot inside where it's warm because it is slightly chilly outside. All that wind and rain that came through yesterday has just made it go. Which the truck says it's 53, but I don't think that's correct. I don't think my thermometer thingy in the truck, I don't think it's accurate. I don't like this room. But anywho, we're going to get off of here, and we will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for joining. Bye.